You still don't know 7 testing principles? How are you planning to become a software tester without knowing this base? If you don't know these testing principles, you will waste a lot of clients' time and money. You will lose their trust and their confidence in the quality of the product. You will lose your job and probably you will end up living on the street and testing garbage cans for food. There are only 7 principles and this is the base of the testing. And the first one is testing shows the presence, not the absence of defect. Some words from STQB. Testing can show that defects are present, but cannot prove that there are no defects. Testing reduces the probability of undiscovered defects remaining in the software. But even if no defects are found, testing is not a proof of correctness. This is the most common misconception among people worldwide. Sometimes clients, companies, and even project managers don't get that testing shows only current problem that we have right now. But testing cannot guarantee that there are no hidden bugs in our system. So why can't testing guarantee a bug-free system? I'll tell you a little example. The company X launched a product. This product was thoroughly tested by the QA team. This product has passed validation and verification. The test cases were created thoughtfully using various test design techniques, and they covered the entire app. It was a success. Product X received millions and billions of 5-star reviews and thank you comments on Play Market and App Store. But, a few days ago, an app received a 1-star review with the title, "Your app is awful." Technical support had a conversation with that man and they were surprised. They figured out that he was using the app on the top of McKinley Mountain during a fucking thunderstorm and got a strange error because of low internet connection. Who could guess? And because of that, the app crashed. As far as you understand, this company didn't send any QAs to the McKinley for reproducing this issue. And also, this test case wasn't added to the Product X test coverage. Does it mean that QAs did a poor job? Of course no! As QAs, we must provide as best as we could coverage to be confident in the quality of our product. If you want to understand how to do it, subscribe and wait till test design technique video is published. Exhaustive testing is impossible. Do you believe that you can test every single thing? Or do you sell this fairy tale to your client? Bullshit! You can't test everything. I'll tell you why. Let's imagine the situation. You are a trainee QA in the company and you have your first ever ticket. Oh my god, it is so exciting! You need to test the password field with such requirements. Can't be empty, must contain at least 6 characters, must not contain spaces, must contain at least 1 uppercase letter, must contain at least 1 lowercase letter, must contain at least 1 digit, must contain at least 1 special character, and maximum characters for the password is 64. How many checks should we do in order to test this task? 10? No, a little bit more. More.
I don't like where this is going.
The correct answer is 2,163,265 test cases. That's an impressive number, isn't it? Let's try to calculate how much time it would take to test such amount of test cases. Assuming we need only 15 minutes per case, it would take us 540,816 hours and 15 minutes to complete the testing.
How? Hold on, bro. How?
Great. Assuming that the average human works 40 years of his life, we need approximately 6 full QA lifetimes to test only 1 feature. Fantastic! This literally means to work to death. So how can we test an app not spending the whole lifetime testing only 1 feature? According to STQB, testing everything is not feasible except in trivial cases. Rather than attempting to test exhaustively, test techniques, test case prioritization and risk-based testing should be used to focus test efforts. So there are 2 main points. First one, exhaustive testing is possible, but only for small and trivial features. Example, The background should be black color. Hex code is 300. To test this, you need just one test. To go to the code and check if the background has this color. And the second one, we need to use different test design techniques and approaches in order to achieve a result less than in 2 centuries. I'm gonna tell more about the test design techniques in the upcoming videos. Don't miss it, because only small-brained people miss RQA course. Confucius. Early testing saves time and money. It is obvious, but let's read the definition from STQB. Defects that are removed early in the process will not cause subsequent defects in derived work products. The cost of quality will be reduced since fewer failures will occur later in the SDLS. To find defects early, both static testing and dynamic testing should be started as early as possible. If you watched my previous video, you should remember the story about BA Jim. If not, let's recall it. Jim made a mistake in requirements, but QA noticed this bug before developing. So QA spent only 15 minutes testing it and BA spent 15 minutes fixing it. If QA didn't find the bug, the developer would spend 2 days developing this feature, and QA would spend 1 day testing this feature and creating a bug wrapper. Then again, developer would spend 1 day fixing and QA 2 hours testing. Now I propose to calculate the cost of the bug. Let it be such salaries: developer $100 per hour, QA $80 per hour, BA $80 per hour. If we are using smart early testing approach, we spend only 30 minutes and $40 per this bug. If we are not so smart, we spend 24 developers hours and 10 QA's hours. The math is simple. 2,400 plus 800 is 3,200 for one bug and 3 days wasted. That's why we should use this principle. Defects cluster together. You need to remember until your final breath. Don't eat yellow snow.
That's not lemon!
Remember the defects cluster together principle. This principle can save not only the whole project, but also your ass. I'll tell about it more later. Some words from STQB about this principle. A small number of system components usually contain most of the defects discovered or are responsible for most of the operational failures. This phenomenon is an illustration of the Pareto principle. Predicted defects cluster and actual defects clusters observed during testing or in operation are an important input for risk-based testing. Very interesting and complicated explanation as usual. Sometimes I even think that STQB tries to explain everything in such tough way to be very cool. So, okay, the defects cluster together principle is a great example of Pareto principle in testing. It is when 20% of effort gives 80% of results, and vice versa. The same applies to testing. Sometimes a small numbers of components of our system can produce an enormous amount of bugs. This could be related to the complex code, integration between the components, and so on. Our main, most important, crucial task here is to note in which components of the system we have such anomalies and analyze these bugs. Okay, we know them. What should we do next? With this information, we can build our test strategy and plan our future testing. How to do it, you will see in upcoming videos. But what if you missed these anomalies? What if you didn't notice them? You'll be fucked up. Totally. Because you will test the product as you tested it before. And probably you will not notice this anomaly. And then one day, this anomaly will be noticed by a real user of your application, who will write a very friendly and positive feedback for your app. Then you will receive very positive feedback from your client, along with an application for your termination. Tests wear out. Be aware of the pesticide paradox. Why do the tests wear out? Why do we need to update them? Firstly, we need to read the definition of the pesticide paradox. If the same tests are repeated many times, they become increasingly ineffective in detecting new defects. To overcome this effect, existing tests and test data may need to be modified, and new tests may need to be written. However, in some cases, repeating the same test can have a beneficial outcome. Example: in automated regression testing. Let's recall the situation when you go to the gym. Your main goal is to lose weight and gain muscles. At first, even minimal loads will be difficult for you. Then you get used to them and they become easy. You increase the weight and it becomes difficult for you again. Then you get used to it again and it becomes easy once more. And it goes in circles. Why did you increase the number of squats or change exercises? Because from the start, these exercises were very effective and useful for your body. But with time, these exercises wore out for you. When you don't feel a progress, this means that this exercise is no longer good for you, so you need to change it to be more useful. The same situation applies to the test cases. If test cases have been run multiple times without showing any issues, they must be updated. Otherwise, you may end up doing a useless job, running useless test cases that can't detect any issues while defect remains under your nose. And also you will be fired because of this poor performance. The solution is to smash like button and wait till the test design technique video is released. Testing is context dependent. I prefer now to start from the STQB definition, because for me it sounds like Confucius' quote. There is no single universally applicable approach to testing. Testing is done differently in different contexts. It sounds to me like there is no perfection in this world, so we didn't create a normal explanation for it. I am curious, will they ever create a normal, understandable, simple explanation for anything? I suppose no. So normal explanation will be from me, as usual. I would bet that you tried to cook different dishes in your kitchen. So you must know that for every kind of product we should use different supplements and spices. Fish with lemon is a super good combination. Meat with pepper, salt and vinegar is super for grill. So we are using different approaches to prepare meals. But we are using recipes, best practices to achieve the best result and prepare a tasty dinner. Of course, we could experiment and prepare a meat using a fish recipe, but we would not know in advance if the result is truly amazing or not. The same situation applies to quality assurance. We need to test different apps. It could be delivery app, bank app, or even software for medical establishment. But we couldn't test all this app using only one testing approach, because they are different. During the testing of delivery app, it is important to focus on payments and maps, because our courier will use maps and the user will pay for his dinner. In contrast, for a bank app, it is crucial to prioritize payments and security, because our user doesn't want his money to be stolen. For healthcare app, the main focus should be on functional correctness, as well as other various types of testing, because our user wants app to calculate the results accurately. So you might understand that you should test every product depending on the product's functionality and product's needs. Absence of defects is fallacy. I think from the first and the second testing principle, it is obvious that sometimes we couldn't test everything. But even if we design perfect test cases, find all possible bugs and fix them, can we be sure that our app is completely free of bugs?
Nope.
According to STQB, it is a fallacy to expect that software verification will ensure the success of a system. Thoroughly testing all the specified requirements and fixing all the defects found could still produce a system that does not fulfill the user's needs and expectations, that does not help in achieving the customer's business goals, and that is inferior compared to other competing systems. In addition to verification, validation should be also carried out. So here we need to recall validation definition. If you don't know what it means or haven't watched my previous video, shame on you. Go to this link quickly. Here is an example to explain this testing principle. You were going on a cruise vacation with your soulmate. It was a surprise for your anniversary. You had planned everything. You Google the place and climate where you would go. Additionally, you choose the best and the most affordable cruise liner tour you could find and check all the reviews beforehand. And you were expecting excitement from your partner. But on cruise, it turned out that your soulmate had the sickness. He hates everything connected to boats. So your vacation failed. Correctly to say, it failed validation because you didn't ask for your boyfriend's expectations. The same applies to testing. We can test our app fucking brilliant, but if the client is not satisfied or we failed validation, everything will be in vain. Now you're ready to discover SDLS video.